Strange things happen in life. You run into someone you know in another country, or you think about a person, and suddenly they call. But there are events that go far beyond mere chance. Today, I will tell you about incredible coincidences that sound as if someone deliberately arranged them according to a single script. Some are connected with famous people, others happened to ordinary individuals, but all of them are united by the fact that they are almost impossible to explain logically. We are beginning the first part of our list. Fact 1. Lincoln and Kennedy, a coincidence across 100 years. Abraham Lincoln and John Kennedy are two of the most famous U.S. presidents who were assassinated while in office. Lincoln was elected to Congress in 1846, and Kennedy exactly 100 years later in 1946. Lincoln became president in 1860 and Kennedy in 1960. Both were fatally wounded on a Friday in the presence of their wives. The shot was fired from behind, to the head. Lincoln was killed at Ford's Theater, and Kennedy was assassinated in a Lincoln car manufactured by the Ford Company. Lincoln's secretary was named John, and Kennedy's secretary was named Lincoln. Lincoln was succeeded by Andrew Johnson, born in 1808, and after Kennedy, the presidency went to Lyndon Johnson, born in 1908. Even their assassins were connected. John Wilkes Booth was born in 1839, and Lee Harvey Oswald in 1939. Both were shot before they could stand trial. Fact 2. An Italian king and his double met in 1900 in the city of Monza. King Umberto I decided to dine at a small restaurant and saw there his exact double. The resemblance was not only physical, the restaurant owner was also named Umberto. Both were born in Turin on March 14, 1844, and both married women named Margherita on April 22, 1868. On the day one Umberto ascended the throne, the other opened his restaurant. Both had sons named Vittorio. On the morning of July 29, 1900, the king was informed that the restaurateur had been killed by a robber. The king did not have time to express his condolences because an anarchist stepped out of the crowd and mortally wounded the monarch. Two men who lived parallel lives died on the same day. Fact 3. A novel that predicted the sinking of the Titanic was published 14 years before the tragedy. Writer Morgan Robertson released a book titled Futility, in which he described the sinking of a giant, unsinkable ship called the Titan. The similarities with reality are astonishing. The Titan was 243 meters long, while the Titanic was 269 meters long. The Titan's speed was 25 knots, and the Titanic's was 24 knots. Both vessels had 3 propellers, and both catastrophically lacked enough lifeboats. The main coincidence is the ending. Both ships sank in April in the Atlantic Ocean after colliding with an iceberg on the starboard side. Robertson claimed that this plot came to him in a dream. Fact 4. Edgar Poe and the predicted cannibalism, another dark story. In 1838, the writer published a short story in which, after a shipwreck, 4 survivors find themselves in a lifeboat. Despair and hunger force 3 sailors to kill and eat the 4th, whose name was Richard Parker. At the time, this was perceived as pure fiction. But 46 years later, in 1884, a real tragedy occurred. A British yacht was wrecked, and 4 crew members found themselves in a similar situation. After 19 days at sea, 3 decided to kill and eat the cabin boy. His name was Richard Parker. Every detail matched, even the victim's name. Fact 5. Mark Twain and Halley's Comet are linked by the dates of the comet's appearance. In 1835, the comet passed by Earth, and 2 weeks later, the future writer was born. In 1909, Twain made a prophetic remark that he had come into this world together with Halley's Comet, and expected to leave together with it. His loved ones took it as a joke, but in April 1910, the comet approached Earth once again. It passed at its closest distance on April 20th, and the next day, Mark Twain died of a heart attack. He departed exactly as he had predicted. Fact 6. The Jim twins lived remarkably similar lives. In 1940, in the state of Ohio, twin boys were separated at the age of 3 weeks. They were adopted by different families who knew nothing about each other. Amazingly, both families named the boys Jim. In 1979, the brothers met and began comparing their lives. It turned out that both married women named Linda in their youth, later divorced, and then remarried women named Betty. Each of them named his son James Allen. Both worked in security-related jobs, suffered from migraines, and even had dogs with the same names. Scientists still cannot explain how chance could have created such a detailed script. Fact 7. 3 strangers met on the same train in England in 1920. 3 men sat in the same railway car and struck up a conversation. When it came time to introduce themselves, a strange situation arose. The first passenger's name was Bingham, the second was Powell, and the third's surname was Bingham Powell. The double surname of the third traveler exactly matched the surnames of the other 2. None of them were related, and they had never met before. The probability of such an event was extremely small, yet it happened in real life. Fact 8. Twins and a simultaneous heart attack became another example of an unexplainable connection. In 1975, brothers John and Arthur Moffat lived in different cities and had not seen each other for several weeks. On the evening of May 22nd, both almost simultaneously felt severe chest pain. They were hospitalized in different hospitals, where doctors gave them the same diagnosis: acute myocardial infarction. Both brothers died within an hour, almost at the same time. Relatives were shocked when they learned about the synchronized tragedy. Doctors could find no explanation, as the brothers' lifestyles and diets were completely different. Fact 9. Hitler and Roosevelt were major enemies with parallel biographies. Both came to power in their respective countries in 1933. They were born in the 1880s and were interested in the arts in their youth. One dreamed of becoming an artist, the other was interested in architecture. Both endured severe hardships. Hitler suffered from a gas attack during the war, and Roosevelt was left disabled after polio. Both led their nations during a period of severe crisis and possessed powerful charisma. The most striking coincidence is that both leaders died in April 1945, only 18 days apart. Fact 10. Violet Jessup was a woman who survived 3 major shipwrecks. In 1911, she worked as a stewardess on the liner Olympic when it collided with a cruiser. In 1912, she served aboard the Titanic and survived in a lifeboat after the collision with an iceberg. In 1916, during the war, Violet worked as a nurse on the ship Britannic, which struck a mine and sank. She once again found herself in the water and survived. All 3 disasters occurred on ships of the same class, and she was aboard each of them, earning her the nickname Miss Unsinkable. Fact 11. James Dean and the fatal advertisement. The final point on our list. In 1955, the famous actor appeared in a road safety commercial. He warned viewers that the life they might save could be their own. It was his last recording. A few weeks after filming, James Dean died in a car accident in his sports car at the age of 24. The commercial aired after the actor's death and became a chilling reminder of the fragility of human life.